Margaret. I'll be a broadcast engineer for today. I'm here with the amazing Charles Delphs. Charles, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm super well and happy Friday to everybody.
Yes, it's good to have you on. Charles has been awesome enough to spend this whole week with us. Seriously, it's a lot of time. Whenever anyone pops on and spends a week with us, I'm like, oh, thank you very much. And also, I know that's a huge time suck. I've had to, it's not quite as stressful as DevCon by any means, but it's still a lot of presenting and talking for hours on end. So, today we are wrapping up our discussion. FM BetterForms is a really fantastic ability to integrate web apps or make web apps for your FileMaker databases so people can interact with your FileMaker database through the web. We have had some really good discussions on it. If your first thought is, well, like, why would I pick this over WebDirect Go? I highly recommend, well, I don't know if I don't think the video's out yet. It's probably in editing. We'll have the first video out soon, but there's really good reasons to pick up and use this. It works very naturally. It deals with things that WebDirect and Go do not easily deal with. And also, it doesn't use licenses. So if you really have a lot of people interacting with your database, and you don't want to use up the licenses, that's a way to do it. That all being said, Charles, where are we starting today?
I wanted to, I got one, two, three, four, five. I got six things I want to cover today. We'll see how much I get covered. I
I'll
get
let
through
you
those.
finish them. If we go over late, that's fine. I'll let you wrap it
Some of
up.
them are small. They're just the little points. I wanted to touch base and reflect a couple days ago and something really, really key. And I wanted to tell you about something. We talked about how you can embed a BetterForms app into another application. We showed and I demonstrated Logix. This is a development company in the Netherlands.
Hmm.
Um, Really, really skilled company. They've built lots of BetterForms apps. They're one of our premier partners there. And um, I demonstrated an app where it's like a building space type thing where you could find building space. You can go back to, I think, Tuesday or Monday
Yeah. Yeah,
when
yeah,
I
yeah.
demoed
With
it.
the map, and then you could figure out what. Yeah, okay.
And one of the things that they're looking at building a lot more of is these integrated front end, back end, marketing type applications. Like for example, we talked a little bit about this AI assistant, but you can build anything in here. Right. So you can build absolutely anything you want in here. It doesn't have to be an AI assistant. It could be a mortgage calculator. It could be an
Hmm.
appointment booking app that books cosmetic treatments at this is actual real use case. I'm thinking of a company in eye clinician in England that does this, and you can build any app you want in here. So now suddenly you have this portal into your database, but it seamlessly fits in. It's really, really easy integration into your existing app. If you want to look at doing that kind of thing, you can contact us and we can build that as your first app. If you're looking for a company, I'm going to give them a shameless plug here. If you're looking for a development house that can give you a hand with that, these guys are probably build some of the top stuff. If you go into our Friday Live videos, he presents all the time. Phenomenally good looking performant apps that you can build in FileMaker and in BetterForms here. So check them out if you get a chance to. Um, so I wanted to jump in. I wanted to demo one other app that I didn't demo the other day, and I think it's kind of an interesting app. It it looks at FileMaker data. I'm going to jump into this one here, and what it does is this company does accountability, traceability for Indonesia and a few other countries for their palm oil industry,
Ooh,
right? So
okay.
that's, used in almost everything, right? And they need to do this traceability, like is it coming from sustainable forest and is it coming from reforestation and all this kinds of areas, and it
Hmm.
can't be too close to a city. And I don't know the exact rules, but there's a lot of geographics that are involved. There's a
Hmm.
lot of accountability and a lot of information. And I'm going to draw on my screen here because this is mind the Charles CAD here for a second. Um, but if you think you're the consumer, right? So you're the consumer sitting here in your house and you're using some palm oil into your product. So you buy
Hmm.
that from a grocery store, they get that from a big distributor, and that distributor gets it from a mill, or I think I'm got maybe got the order wrong. That mill has a crushing department or a place where
Hmm.
they process this. All the way down, there's an estate, and the estate has farms, something like that.
Yeah.
That's the chain of command of all of this. And what the company does is they provide accountability, like looking all the way in. So if this company gets audited, they say, this is a big food company. They say, well, we need to know, where this is coming from. Is it ethically produced and all this stuff? So they go
Mhm.
to them, and then these guys ask these guys, these ask this. Now, this is the chain, but really and truly, like there's a whole bunch of records, if you will, at these
Mhm.
different levels. Right. And I'm saying this because this is really kind of a FileMaker. It's a data problem.
Mhm.
There's multiple companies here that supply to this distributor, and then there's little properties that belong to here and to here.
Mhm.
So if you're going to go, and we have at the top, there's a few of these companies. I'll draw it sort of like how I learned records, kind of like this. It's kind of not too great. That's how I always draw little pictures when I make these things.
Mhm.
So you got these top level companies like I probably shouldn't say the names of the companies, but they're just high level food manufacturing, only a handful of the
Mhm.
really high level ones. Um, and they need to create a survey. All right. So they say we need to know where all of our stuff is coming from because our grocery store, whomever restaurant chain is asking us. And so they go to all of these people and they email them. What they used to do is they send email to here and say, hey, can you fill out this survey? And these guys would say, I don't know some of this stuff. They'd send an information to here. Hey, can you fill out this survey? Hey, can you fill out this information? Where's your property? Is it next to a rainforest? And so on. So, and then the next company, this one here, this is one, number two, would do the same thing. And these guys are saying, holy cow, I'm filling out the same data again, right? But this time I'm doing it for this one, and I'm doing it for this one, and I'm doing it for this one. Wouldn't it be nice if we had an application that I'm just gonna do this here. Wouldn't it be nice if I had an application that as soon as this person filled out their data, they should never have to fill that out again.
Mhm.
This one fills out the data. Anybody who asks that's related to that should never have to fill that out. This one here. And eventually it's less and less data for each person to fill out, if that makes
Yes.
sense. Right? Because they're like nodes. These are effectively nodes that connect to each other.
Mhm.
So here's where this application comes in. There we go.
That's a complicated thing to track.
It is, and it's actually data wise, it's kind of interesting. It's a if you've ever
Well, because
looked
you're
at different
following the
data
entire
models,
supply chain, which is a lot.
yeah, and it's very similar to something that was popular or is popular in data modeling called the party model. It's kind of sort of similar because you have connections. There's a bunch of farms, a bunch of suppliers, and a bunch of things in the middle, and a wholesaler could be purchasing from multiple
Mhm.
suppliers. Those suppliers could be purchasing from multiple crushing departments and
Mhm.
so on. So there's all kinds of combinations of this web. But we need to keep this information super secretive between each one of them. Okay, so I'm just logging in. I just want to make sure I'm in the right account here. And so what this is two applications that connect to the same FileMaker database. Okay, so two applications connecting to the same FileMaker database. This application is used by these major by the major companies at the very top who requisition these surveys. So in this particular case, this company, I'm logged into the main company. This is just development data here. And they are logged in and they have 5 surveys that are in process. So that means that whole supply chain's not filled out yet, right? They can filter those down. These are the mills, and then there's some other information. I should zoom out a little bit here. I'm zoomed in because of my screen resolution here. They can go through, create all kinds of searches, different types of searches. They can build searches. You can see the data changes. Probably nothing in here. Maybe there is, yeah. So they can go through and create, do these complex filters. And they can also drill into the information. So they can say, okay, submitted. Let me just find the submitted. These are the submitted ones, or let me find other pieces of data, whatever they are, and drill down into that. So that's kind of interesting. It's kind of a neat UI for
Yes.
for data mining. Now, but we can't see the real application yet. This is the surface. This is the portal that the main people use to see these applications.
Mhm.
But the people who are filling out the applications could be on mobile, they could be on a farm, on a tablet, they could be, just a one office kind of thing.
Mhm.
So let's have a look at that. So I'm going if I jump to one of these, let me see if I'm looking at surveys here or not. Let me just make sure. Yeah. If I jump to uh, generate survey. All right. So now I can generate it. I can start, they can issue a new survey. So they would fill this out, and this is going to be like the first person in that supply chain. And they would enter the reporting date. I'm not going to actually send the survey, but they could enter all the information in for where they're going to, when it's going to start at the end of that quarter and so on. And they could start with the previous year's data because chances are farmers haven't changed where they're located, right? They haven't changed, the number of hectares or whatever that they have, and so on.
Hmm.
That would initiate a link. So that sends a link out, uses like from FileMaker. It doesn't send it out from BetterForms because you'd send these things from that's a back end integration.
That's
And
very cool.
and then there we go. So I'm back at the top here. Now, these are the surveys. This is development data. So these are the surveys. I can see the percentage that it's completed, and I can jump in to see the next level of suppliers that we're surveying. This is
Hmm.
not deep down, but it's the first level down, right? And I can grab all of their information. I can download various bits. It's going to generate some type of report. That's running on server using messaging, telling the front end that it's done. There's my report there. It's a XML type report. It's a multilingual site, by the way, as well, because most of the suppliers, big companies are located in North America. Everybody else in that supply chain is in Indonesia. So you can switch to Bahasa Indonesia. So Bahasa is the language there. And yeah, this is not actually English. So that actually changed languages there. So you can build these multilingual apps
Hmm.
relatively easily. We have some tools that help developers build that and dictionary systems so that they can just
That's cool.
incorporate stuff. It makes it fairly easy for apps. Sometimes there's a lot of little things like mouse overs and like, what's this thing do? You'd have to change those languages, but I
Hmm.
think those they probably should be in. Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, see, even that stuff is all multilingual.
So wait, is it automatically translating, or did you make another layout with the translation on it?
No, it's one layout, but instead of putting like a word underneath the hood, what happens is instead of putting the word, what word is that? Dashboard?
Hmm.
Yeah. Instead of putting the word dashboard in there, you say a special function. See, I think imagine this is a custom function
Hmm.
called I-18N, which stands for internationalization. I-18N
Hmm.
dashboard. Dashboard would be your keyword. In English, it's dashboard is dashboard, but in French, it'd be dashboard, and in German, it'd be dashboard, and and so on, right?
Yeah.
They'd have the obviously, I can't speak those languages.
No, I know. I get what you're saying. That's awesome,
My
actually.
bad accents. And so they would just do that, and then it has a dictionary. I can show you a little later on, but it has a dictionary, and you can convert. Now,
Hmm.
let's get into the real app. This is just Surface app. They can invite other people, other users into the app, so they can add another user and invite them in. Cool little animation there, and log out, of course. But let me go back to here, and we'll jump into one of these companies. These are the mills downstream, and I think I can download individual data for them. And I can also go to the survey. So I want to click on Open Survey. This is a totally separate application. Okay, two apps connected to the same database. So this was the first one here. That's the portal. And then this is it looks like this is done. So I don't know if I think this is done. Yeah. Okay. So I got to find one that's not done. If I know how to do that. Incomplete. Maybe this one. No, this is survey here. So it might because of the time. Hopefully I can find one that I can do. Okay, here we go. Great. So these people there's all different people along those nodes, and you don't want them to have to like log in, and no one's they're farmers, right? They don't want to have to remember passwords and how to reset and all of that stuff. And
Yes.
even if you do, they're just going to use like 1, 2, 3, 4 or something like this. Right?
Yes. They don't have time for your nonsense.
Exactly. Ain't no time for that. Um, Again, this is all in multilingual as well. So this is what they would receive through an email link. So this is again an example of one of those smart link things. There's a bunch of
Hmm.
UUID stuff in here and some information and a encoded timestamp and whatnot, and they would receive this link. Now I could open this up on any device. I can adjust my time if I want to change the time period there. Start date must be before the end date. Okay. So here's a UX problem. I should be able to cancel this, but it looks like it's not going to allow me to do that. So I'm going to have the start date here. I don't think this is really, and maybe here, let me just go back. Okay, that's the wrong one, this one. All right. I might have avoided my link here, so let me just do this again. Where was it here? It was one of these. Let me just see. Okay, great. So I'm going to click Get Started. Right away, there's a pop-up. BetterForms supports modals and things, and it's just telling you
Hmm.
how to use a quick navigation, a quick tutorial. And it's going to ask you some information. I can change period, diameter. These are various resources they give and proceed to the survey. So the survey is actually really, really extensive. It doesn't look too bad, and it was designed to not feel too heavy to the user, but it is actually quite significant. They would normally enter their latitude and longitude here. And then once they've done that, they go on to step number two. Here is where they can find various mills. So this is your suppliers. Now, this survey has a few different personas. Depending on where you are in that supply chain, it shows different stuff. All right. So I'm going to add a mill. And this portion of traceability allows, okay, yeah, okay, so a little bit of stuff. It tells me that this particular survey is partially filled. You know what? This is going to this company. Why don't I get that company to fill out from here down? So the minute I do this, I enter that company's email, my supplier, because remember, it's a node of, it's a sequence of a supply chain. That will send a survey and a special survey for that next notch over. So they can distribute this work or they can delegate this work. And that's the real key thing. This is something you can't typically do easily with, well, you definitely can't do with FileMaker because you're not going to get hundreds or thousands of people to install FileMaker.
No.
Um, you arguably could do it with WebDirect, but it's not going to feel like this anyway, for sure. So I think we can add, let's see, add a new mill. And let's see if there's a mill. There's I don't know, 30, 50,000 mills in here. There
Hmm.
might not be in this database, so. Okay. Interesting enough, out of the thousands of there's nothing that starts with MAR, right? And even char, there's not too much because because of the language. Let me see. Yeah, there's not too much. Okay, that looks like there's not much data. The production one, there's hardly any data, or since they're all Indonesian names, it's kind of hard to type
Hmm.
them. But I'm going to add mil C into here. So I add mil C, and
Hmm.
I can continue to add more. I'm going to hit done. Now mil C is here. They have 0% completion, so I can send that off. If I delegate these off, I don't have to take care of it anymore, and the next person fills out their section, or I can fill
That's
it.
really cool.
Yeah, is it starting to sort of make sense what's actually happening here? Like it's that whole supply chain is getting filled out, and it doesn't matter who fills it out. If somebody fills it out first, I don't have to fill it out for the second requisition because it's all the same data. But we can maintain privacy, and that's what's kind of cool. So here there's a couple tabs here. And I'm not going to go through all the details and all the fields because nobody cares. But I do want you to see that there's a whole bunch of settings and a whole bunch of things that they do. They can
Hmm.
come from here. There's a little accordion here where these are all individual estates. This is just dummy data. You can tell the developer was just, it's like, I don't
Hmm.
want to enter stuff in, but I could go in um, and enter all the information in for here. And it actually goes, I think it goes one layer deeper, maybe even two, maybe not.
That's
Maybe not.
insane. That's really
But
cool.
yeah, there's a lot of data. And the real takeaway here is we're using tech and we're sending, first of all, we're sharing data, but not sharing it in a transparent fashion. So if something's been filled out, I can't necessarily see that data, but I know my supplier filled it out because they don't want to tell me how much they're making, right? Because
Yes.
maybe they're going to say, give me a better deal. You're not making very much. So there's some privacy issues there.
Hmm.
Second thing is, so that's the sharing of the data privately. The second thing is that everybody's filling stuff out and that eventually fills out this big massive puzzle.
Yes, which is
All
really
of that
cool.
data pushes in from this web app and it pushes all the way up into here. And that's the end of the day, they see some percentage number and that's what they're happy with. Right. So
That's
it's, yeah, kind of a cool app, I think.
That's a really cool concept. The ability to like forward stuff on to like essentially you're passing the baton down the road to everyone who needs to fill out the information without ever really having to share your
Exactly.
own personal information is very cool.
Yeah. So anyhow, I wanted to show you that because I thought it was kind of neat. And I don't know if anybody's any questions about that kind of stuff, but it's a great use of FileMaker and data.
Yeah.
And you can imagine what the data model must look like for something like this.
No, I'm sure the data modeling for this is insane. Um, the server when the survey is completed and that information is filled out, I assume that's sent back to like all their requisite records in FileMaker.
Yeah. As the user fills stuff out in this app over here, it
Mm-hmm.
says, "You want to return later? Would you like to continue editing?" I guess continue editing. Must have checked if I was away or absent for a bit. It fills out real time into FileMaker.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have to fill out everything because a lot of times they don't have all of this stuff. Imagine you were doing some, I don't know, insurance or some kind of audit to your company, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a wholesale company and you got to do an audit or a inventory count or something. You're not going to get that done in a day. Sometimes you have to find out what the supplier's addresses are, what's the insurance company of the supplier, what's their phone numbers, do they have emergency contact, all this kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you need that. So you're going to send some of this information off to them, and then they can come back and fill it out in pieces. As they fill it out, it shows up and it starts to trickle into here. So you start to see this stuff fill up in real time. The If in the event that something's not getting done, then they can always, prod the person. They know
Mm-hmm.
exactly where the bottleneck is for that.
Yes, they know exactly who's messing up. So.
I'm gonna close this. There's a little help in here. I haven't used that app in like years, so it's kind of but it came up in conversation the other day. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna close this, and what I'm gonna do is um I want to talk about. I sort of glanced over about what it's like to create a new app, I think, in day one. And you had mentioned like, maybe we can review that and do an actual full integration.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to do an integration as if it was a second app into the same database that I already have into FM Starting Point.
Okay.
So basically, when you log into FM BetterForms, you don't have any apps. I already have a couple apps here, but you wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
have it. It would be empty here. So I'm going to say new app, and I'm going to be presented with templates. I'm going to filter this down by our version 3
Oh.
template. And so I have a few templates here, and I'm going to create one. I'm going to create another portal. Maybe this is going to be an employee staff portal. We'll just do this one because it's similar.
Mm-hmm.
So I select the portal. I can preview what the template looks like. I can read some information here, and I'm going to say use this template. I can also go back. I should actually just mention I can also go and look at another app. Maybe I built an app last week for another client
Mm-hmm.
and I want to grab that. Like I see here, this is a basketball tracking app. It's kind of a
Mm-hmm.
neat app too.
That's cool.
And so I want to use that, and I see it's got. I'm going to use version 12 of that, and I can use that template, and I can build my app based on that app. So
That's
it's going to
cool.
clone.
So you can
Yeah,
clone previous work that you've done and make that as a new template. That's very
exactly,
nice.
exactly. So, all right. So let's jump back to this one here, and we will use this guy here. I'm going to say use this template. I'm going to call it team portal.
Team Portal works for
Team
me.
time. Let's go team tracker, right? I'm going to team tracker. I'm going to call it team tracker dev because it'll be the development domain. I'm going to change domains to an available one. I'm going to use a server. If I don't already have a server, I can click add server and I point my server, my server, we'll call it. Some people like to name their servers funny names. I don't know, widget one or Pokemon or whatever you call your servers. Um, I train in martial arts, so it used to be names of patterns was when I managed our
Oh,
servers,
that's
you know,
cool.
things like that. So I'm gonna select the date gateway, and it's gonna be something like whatever fms dot my company .com, something along those lines, and I click create server. Okay, I can go ahead and test the server. This is not a real server, so it's gonna test is gonna fail, and I'm just gonna hit save. Now my app will be connected to that new server connection. I'm going to use the one I already have though.
So about the gateway thing for the server.
Hmm.
Um, Does it just need the DAPI gateway to be open, or does it need another gateway to be open?
No, you can use either the data API or the
Hmm.
XML gateway.
Okay, so got it.
Right? There was a good use case for using the XML gateway up until last year, and the
Hmm.
fact that it wasn't monetized. Uh,
Oh, but now since they've
right?
removed monetization from DAPI, then you should
Bingo.
be fine. Okay.
Yeah. And really, honestly, out of the hundreds of apps, we've never heard of anybody running out of data API access because BetterForms pretty light.
Hmm.
You're only the data that you see is what's transmitted.
Hmm.
So you're generally not like dumping tons of stuff
Yeah,
at
it's
me.
not like sucking the whole database down to
Exactly.
shove onto a web
Bingo.
page.
And it's not chatty or anything like that. So, all right, everything looks good here. We're going to click Build App, and BetterForms is going to provision that app. And we should be all good. I'm going to click Done here. And you can see it's created an environment. So now I'm in this,
Hmm.
let me just go back to here so you can see. There we go. Here's my team tracker here. This is my new app. And it's created this environment, and it's still in the process of actually provisioning it in our network. Because we
Hmm.
have multiple data centers, there's some provision work that's taken care of by the network.
Okay.
And in a minute or half a minute or so, that'll disappear. And then we know we're good to go. But what it's doing is basically it's taking care of the certificate. It's getting an SSL certificate. It's provisioning the app and its data and all the assets and things like that that it needs into each one of our data
Hmm.
centers as well. So I'll give that a second and it'll disappear. Um, In the meantime, actually, we can still go in here and look. In the meantime, I can see here's all my pages for my new app. They haven't been edited, so there's not much for previews and things like that. Oh, there we're done. Okay. So the app is now ready. So I'm going to click on this and Team Tracker Dev, and there it is. That's our out of the box app. It looks very similar to the one we did because I just created the same one. All right. So now we got our app. It's up and running. It's not connected to anything. So we need to actually do some integration. And I'll show you something that we have. Let me just pull this up. Let me just a sec. It's the wrong one. Just give me a sec here. And we have a new video series, which is kind of neat. CAD. There it is there. Academy Notes. There. All right. And here it is here. This is AI generated images. There we go. This is just a new getting started series that
Hmm.
you can follow. And basically, it's a video series that has a number of videos and steps. And I'm gonna run through the first three steps really quick today, but
Hmm.
it's exactly the same stuff. I didn't talk about how to upload the helper file, but we
Hmm.
would have to download this file and upload it. I think I did on day one. And here's another one on integration here and so on. So what do we do? What do we do for integration? Well, we need our FileMaker database for starters. So I got FM starting point here. That's where I'm going to integrate into. And I'm just going to close all my scripts here. And I'm just going to do this here. I'm going to create a bunch of space so we can put our integration up at the top and it doesn't add any visual clutter here. Okay, so we want to integrate into this app. And I need my helper file. The helper file, remember, was that proxy file that sat in between the web and our business file. Okay, so it's like an interface file, and this is this one right here. It also has access to a number of um, a bit of code that we're going to integrate with. So from our helper file, I'm going to grab some custom functions, and I'm going to copy those custom functions. It's using base elements here. I jump over to my FileMaker database, manage custom functions. This is pretty straightforward. A lot of people, it's amazing how many people didn't realize that you can cut and paste. This sounds really funny, but I see a lot of people looking because there's no copy paste buttons, right? Or
Hmm.
edit buttons. But you can copy paste custom functions. So If I put a new folder, I don't need to do this again. I'm not going to actually commit these. Oops.
Hmm.
And the reason for that is I already have a folder here, but I just want to show you one more time how that's done. So I click folder and my BFCFs, something like that. And I would just paste those Command V and paste those in. I'm not even sure if you can right click and it shows the context menu for editing. I'm not sure. We should check that.
Yeah, I
All
don't
right, so
know.
there they are. Yeah, it does. It looks like because it looks like I got copy and paste. Now you see mine. If you ever see this and you're wondering why, this is kind of for the new players, and you're seeing it looks like I missed the folder though. You're seeing why is there a two when I paste this custom function? It's because you already had one the same name. So FileMaker's smart enough to name it something
It's
else.
it's it's saving you from causing a collision of unforeseen
Bingo, yeah.
consequences.
Custom functions are actually, and they're I think they're a little bit underrated. Um, They're one of the only places in FileMaker where you can kind of write true free-form text code.
Hmm.
Um, that in the calculation engine. So they're actually pretty powerful because of
Hmm.
that. Have you had Kevin Frank on talking about Jason? What's it called? Oh, sorry, Kevin. Jason. It's a set of JSON fu custom functions and incredibly powerful. You can do all these filtering and searching and things like that. It's modeled after
We
a
have had him
library.
talk on it, but like we need to have him on again.
Right.
I need some I was actually hilariously enough writing him an email this morning to get him on for September at some point
Nice.
because the work he does is brilliant with it. It's fantastic.
So here's step one. Step two is generate a folder. So
Hmm.
that folder, I'm going to call it, I called it Team Portal. So I'm going to just call it Team, Team Portal. And my first page is going to be my dashboard page. And that's it. So I copy that. That's on the clipboard now, FileMaker scripts. Um, and I'm going to jump over to here and I'm just going to hit paste. And sometimes this takes a while. And some people's machines, it's crazy fast. And other people, I notice when we onboard them, it's really, really slow. I don't know exactly what's happening here, but FileMaker is shuffling something around. So I noticed with this particular file, FM starting point, it's not a blame of the file, but it seems to hang around here for about 20 seconds.
You
So,
know,
but it
that's
will
interesting.
continue.
Yes, it does. I uh I should actually talk to Miles about that.
I don't know if you can solve it easily. That thing, I don't know if it's worth solving because how often do you do stuff? But whatever file, I've never heard Clay or anybody talk about this exactly. But I think basically what it's doing is it's making sure everything is there's no external connections of stuff and it's safe to paste in. All right, so here we go. We pasted in our three folders. There's one at the top and two
Hmm.
underneath. And one is for global scripts and one is for uh, scripts for this, just my first page. As I add more scripts to another page, and we'll do this in a second with the account page in our existing app. But as I add more stuff in, I would add more scripts. And this is just a nice way. You probably already do this. In fact, FM starting point, as an example, does containerize or sectionize the scripts
Hmm.
to make them a little bit more canonical. Like, here's a bunch of stuff related to accounts processes, and there's a ton of scripts in there. And it just makes it a little bit easier to maintain, right? And
Hmm.
BetterForms is doing the exact same thing. We got one, and then the rest of them would go under here. That is it for almost it, sorry, for the custom functions. The only other thing is these two files have to talk to each other. So we have to modify a script step that's in here. And we would add
Handily
support.
labeled configure here.
Yes. And this one says keep out, but I can't tell you how many times I hop on support calls and somebody's way in here. And it's like, does say keep out, but I guess they think that got to go in, right? So
No, that's like if you put any kind of no one allowed keep out on anything, immediately people are gonna immediately try to
yeah, and
clamber
I
in.
can't blame them. That's the first place I'd look. Oh, what do they want me to keep out? Something good in there?
Human curiosity is too strong.
Yeah. So so we would connect the two files, and that is pretty much it for the integration. really common thing, and even I do this. I did this. I was recording these videos for this demo. Is they make mistakes. Now you'd think FileMaker developers, we're the software developers, pretty tech savvy. We have access to probably a higher number of applications than the average user because we're into
Hmm.
all of these apps. We're the worst for passwords, though, right? We go so fast and we copy and paste, and then sometimes password managers clear the clipboard and things like that. So you have to be really, really meticulous with the passwords. You have to
Hmm.
make sure that when I'm setting the password in here, this is where we set the credentials. When I'm setting it in there, it's exactly the same one that's going to go into here, and it's the same one that's going to go into this other to your business file. That's the only trick or the gotcha to pay attention to. That's 70% of our 50% of our support is passwords. All right. So now we've got this integration. I'm going to go back to our first app from the other day, our BusyCorp app here. And I was looking at it, and there's a couple things I want to change. I didn't like the way the invoice looked, and I wanted to connect up this account page just to see what's one more page like. All right,
Hmm.
that's not sort of that's so we can get an idea because we got live dashboard, we've got live estimates. We can click on an estimate and see that data. We can place the order, and that changes the status of the order.
Hmm.
Now, I don't really like the look and feel of this because maybe it doesn't match my brand image. So what I did is I went. Let me see if I can find this here. I pulled up Pinterest. There's a lot of sites for UX and UI, and I was looking through like these Pinterest ones. And I thought, oh, okay, this one actually I like this one here. It's kind of colorful. That
Hmm.
kind of matches BusyCorp's look. So let me have a look at this. And unfortunately, this resolution, I can't really zoom in, but I think I can. Oh, no, you can save image, download image. Maybe I can. Let me see if I can get it big enough that we can read it. Just a sec. And maybe go one smaller. Here we go. All right. And I don't want this more to explore in here. This propaganda thing here. All right. I'm going to take a picture of this image. I'm going to actually copy it onto my clipboard. Power tip is if you're doing clipboard command shift 4, does clipboard, but if you hold the control key down, it goes directly to clipboard, right? So that's a real bonus and it stops all that stuff from happening over here. Alrighty. I'm going to go to BetterForms here. BusyCorp, yes, we're in the right app. And I want to go to our estimate detail page. That was this page right here. And I want to change the look and feel of that this invoice. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to open up our editor. I'm going to open up our AI. I'm going to paste off my clipboard the AI, and I'm going to say change the look and feel to match the colors and look and feel of this pretty invoice that I found. And we'll start with that. And it says light blue, T accent color, more spacious, blah, 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 and changing it around. Interesting.
The fact that I can watch this happen live is insane. It's very cool to see that it's like unfolding and fiddling with it.
Yeah. We experiment with different models. This particular one used to be, and it's funny, they say that, these companies say they don't change the models once they're published, but they're 100% do. 100% stuff change.
Yeah.
Note the blue highlight colors. And let's just modify that a little bit more. Thanks for clarifying. Yeah. Like I didn't make it clear the first time. All right. Okay, there we go.
Oh, now we got the blue.
Yeah, that's looking nice. Yes, there we go. All right. Now we're getting a really, really sexy invoice,
This is cool. This is very
right?
cool.
And then we can tell Pearson from yesterday, it's okay, we got this. So, all right. Remember what I
That's
said though about
insane.
yesterday, just going back to Pearson,
Hmm.
UX is not UI. This is just UI, but that doesn't mean the experience is the best. It looks pretty. All right, so that's pretty cool. Let me
Yes.
save that. Let's go back over to here. And here is our actual invoice now. Beautiful, right?
That's awesome. That's really cool. That's one of the coolest things I've seen in a while, actually. That's
This
sweet.
is real data too. Like, let's go back to estimates here and let's pick a different one. This 356 processing one. It's in processing. Remember, we should have changed this. We haven't changed that yet, right? But that's just a prompt to change or whatever. We should change the business name too. We'll do that in a second. Um, and here we go. Here's my items, my calculators. I got two thing, total due, and so on, right? We could change this to an actual invoice versus an estimate and so on. But this could be the type of page that you send to them for that approval. Right? Even though it's inside your app, you can hide all of this and only show it once they log in. So it's kind of like a dual purpose kind of thing going on. Okay. I don't know if there's any questions about that, but I think that's kind of neat.
I think that's cool. That's like yeah, that's freaking awesome.
All right.
People are typing. If they pop up a question, I will let you know.
Yeah, certainly. So that's four items already. So we're doing great. Let me just change a couple little things here.
Okay.
And let's break this down let's jump back into here. I'm going to hit Command H. And again, for the people who want to mess around a little bit, I can hit Command Find and business name. There it is there. And I can change that to busy and this to corp. I can still manually have control over things. Boom. Perfect. It looks like it grew there. Save. Oops. Wrong save. Save and save. Great. Bing. All right. So now I got a nice little Busy Corp invoice. Now, it may or may not make sense to have this on here, maybe because it's part of the logo up here, and we should probably unify these logos. I could use this one here as well. All right. Yeah, so that would be an example of producing some UI, very low level, right? Very low effort. And you can dial these things in. I want this thing. I want maybe a different type of number separator because I'm in Europe, totally fine. Maybe we want to truncate this. Right now it's using lorem ipsum because we don't have any. Let's have a look at our data. We don't have a description in our data, right? But I would go back over
Hmm.
to FileMaker now and I'd say, let's add a description into that. So I'd go back over to my estimates table. I don't know if there's no descriptions in here for these lines. I don't know if I can go to the actual detail of the line either. No, I can't. So I don't have a description in here. So I would probably erase that description line. Maybe down the road we'd add it. This is designed to. So here's a detailed description here. So the product has a description. Ooh, this is kind of interesting. Product has a description. So we could add the description in there through the relationships. So if we wanted. So let's have a look at. Maybe we can do that easily. Sorry, boom, boom, boom. I'll close that. Command Shift D. Remember, we're grabbing the data for the estimates. We're grabbing this data from this as JSON detail. So this is a calculation that is representing the record. This is the stuff in the record. This is the stuff in the related record. So a line item is probably where the description would sit. So I'm going to go over to the line items as JSON list, and I'm going to add a description in there. So let's jump over to the line items. We have GHIJ, is it line invoice? Oh, it's I. This one's invoice line items. That must be it. Or is it estimate line items? Estimate line items. There we go. And I don't know if there's any kind of description that's already in here. It doesn't look like. All right. It doesn't look like. Product quantity. So rather than add the description into here, I think let's just see if there might be a relationship between the estimate line item and the next table over, which is probably the products. So there's probably an ID product in here. There it is there. So I'm going to assume that
Yep.
there's some connection here. So I'm going to go back to my as JSON list and let's just duplicate one of these lines, copy, paste, paste. I'm going to call it description. And now I want to get the description from a layout 1 over. So I'm going to check. Hopefully we got something here. Related tables, good. Do we got products in here? Oh yeah, estimates to products via the ID account. No, we would ID product. Is there one ID product pop over? I don't know what that is. So maybe there's another one here, right here. Estimates to accounts. Now, I mentioned before, I don't use this naming convention, but yeah, I know you guys are going to talk about naming conventions. The fact that it's consistent is allowing me to solve this problem without understanding it, right? So I
Yes.
know this is the primary table. This is the table we're on.
Hmm.
Or this is the one that's related to from where we're on. We're actually on estimates or estimate
Hmm.
line items. So this is products, and this is the way it's connected. It's connected via the ID product. So I feel a really high level of confidence. That's what I want. I'm going to search for description,
There you go.
description, and then we'll just, oh, what am I double clicking now? I'm trying to drag it. That's too funny. Okay. I think we're good there. So I'm going to do this. Come on, maybe you can do it. All right. And I'm not going to change anything else. I've only added into the line item. So let me just do this now. Let me go back to estimates, and we're going to go back to our estimate detail for a second. Hopefully all of those items. Actually, I don't know if our widget has a description, so I should find a estimate that has a product, a real product in it. This is an Angular, whatever that is. Let me just make sure because we want to make sure we have one that has um, what is it? Angular clamp with four. Okay, that's what I was thinking. It's a good to have four. Angular clamp with four. So let me add that into the to the big bill here. And can you do a lookup in here somehow? Is there a way of doing a, is that what this
Uh,
is?
I think that's just adding, it'll automatically
Yeah.
create.
Isn't there a way of doing, I thought one of the versions of this, you could add an item from, maybe I got to put an ID. I can't edit the ID though. Oh, add
Is it
line
a line? I'm
numbers.
about to say, is that the
Ah,
one?
there we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
there we
Yeah,
go.
beauty. So I want this one, create. Oh, no, that's not what I want. I want just, do you want to delete? Yes, I do, because I didn't want to create a new one. I wanted to add this. There must be a,
I think if
sorry,
you
I
just
zoomed
click
in
it,
there.
I think you just,
Yeah, there we go. Okay, and let's blow
yes.
out this bad data here. Okay, so now we know Angular has a description, right?
Hmm.
And it's on this big invoice. So let me make sure that gets committed because we're not explicitly committing here. And let me go back to these estimates. Here's the big one here. Okay, now we're not going to see the description yet because we haven't rendered it on the page. Let's look under the hood though. And with a bit of luck, boom, data's already here. So let's just reflect for a second. The only thing I didn't even add a field. I actually modified one calculation for the line item to look for that description. And now I have the data in the front end, right? So it's really, really extensible that way. It's really easy when stuff changes. And when the simpler that kind of stuff is, the less fragile it is as well. So that means if I go and change a layout, I go and move some fields on a layout, we're not going to break anything, right? And you really want that in your web solution. You want it to be robust. All right, so we got a description. I'm going to copy this one item here so that I can add the description into here, and then we're all done with this invoice. So let's go and into our development data and oops, development data. And I'm just going to add this as an example line item. Looks like I didn't quite copy the closing. There we go. And I'm going to hit save there. We're going to go back over to here. We're going to jump into here. And I'm just going to say to the AI, connect the lorem ipsum description line to the actual description key. All right. And because it actually has a copy of that real data, you want to define here's the updated code. Yeah, so there's no description, no description, description. Beautiful. Wow. Nobody wants to see that big, humongous description. Um, can we truncate or clamp that description to about 3 lines? Okay. Clamp is a technical word for this kind of stuff. It's called clamping. So, but you could say truncate to 3 lines and it would get it as well. Okay. Beautiful. Now we got exactly the effect that we want.
Ah, cool.
All right. And boom, save and our description. I would probably do 2 lines. 3 lines, a little bit too many.
That's awesome though. Look at that. That was really cool, actually.
And just to go back to a couple days ago, you can't truncate data in WebDirect. Right. You might be able to kind of, well, yeah, I can just make the box 3 lines high until something's off, and then you clip the top of the words, or, you know, or half the word is just disappearing. This is actually automatically, this is a browser thing. It's adding that CSS on the end there to add the ellipsis. The real typographer purist would add a space and then the ellipsis, but no, well, I'm gonna settle for that. So awesome. So now we got these two custom items plus an actual item out of our inventory. Everything looks pretty good. We got this workflow. We're done here. All right. So we have one more thing to connect up in this app, and that is our account page here. I'm going to shrink it down so you can see a little bit more of it for now. It's got some, let me just fill it out a little bit. It's got some different stuff. I don't really want to let my user, I don't want to let this Charles guy change too much stuff. He's my customer, but I want him
Yes.
to be able to maintain some things. Typically, I
Mm-hmm.
don't want them to change email because that's how they're communicating with me. So that's a little bit more involved. I want to maybe allow them to upload a profile picture. I want them to maybe change their phone number, company name, maybe some notification settings or whatever I have. These are just example ones, but whatever
Mm-hmm.
I want to do, GDPR compliant tag or something like this, whatever they got to do, and maybe optional for for change password. So so let's go into this page. We'll edit it and we'll connect it up to the database so that the user can grab the information, update their stuff, and push it back into the database. All right. So I'm going to go back over to BetterForms. I'm going to jump up to my pages and I'm going to search for account. And there's my account page. Let's pull that open. And here we go. Here's all the different fields on the account page. First thing, I don't want them to change this email field. Okay, so I don't see a setting here. I think it's called read, not required, read only. Read only, read.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's capital O only. I have to check the docs. You know what? I'm not going to. I'm going to let the AI do this. Um, Change email to read only. All right, because it'll end up making probably. I want to mention something. What is it? OpenAI, which is what we're using in this provider today. They just dropped GPT-5. And anybody who does integrations with OpenAI knows that every time they drop a new model, it floods the um, there it is, read only. Here we go. It floods I guess their servers, and sometimes calls just don't come back. We were just talking about adding some kind of auto retry for that. Okay, so I've done that so they can't edit their email. Maybe
Cool.
we might want to change the label here to say read only. And there's no sense in having it.
Could you
It
make it
says
appear
it's
more like a merge field and less like an editable field?
we could. Yeah, we probably could. We definitely could put it just as HTML.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or maybe put a gray background in here or something
So
like that.
something to like them let them visually know because
Yeah, we could do that. I think it's let me see if I can remember it. It's style classes field, I think. I'd have to check the docs on this one. Oh, it says right here. Style classes field. Let's see, BG gray 50. No. Okay, I'd have to check the exact attribute name from the docs. Um,
hmm
I thought it was style classes field. Maybe it's field style classes or something like that. But that's how you do that. And then that would just go background gray. All right. Now I don't think there's too much other stuff here. Maybe we'll get rid of, we're not going to have push notifications. So I'm just going to delete that. I'm going to delete all of those things. I'm going
hmm
to delete this. And by the way, if we didn't want to say, well, maybe I want to add that in the future. Let me just undo that. And we can just say visible false, visible.
Oh, you could hide the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. We can just come in and we can just change we can add that particular attribute like visible there. Um, and then we can just say false. I'm going to actually delete them, but we can just hide them if we wanted to. Delete, delete. And it would still show up on my screen, but it wouldn't show up in production. Everything would shrink down. Okay, I think we're good. We'll keep pretend we got this stuff here. Change password, phone, about. Here's a picture editor. Let's see what that's all about. Do the contacts have a image share? Yes, they do. Beautiful. Okay. So the page automatically has it does or this example page has a profile picture. Remember, we BetterForms is designed for big applications and big usage, like real world usage, not just your team. So we could upload an image. There's a number of different ways we can upload images. If you're really building something scalable, you want to upload them to like an AWS bucket. But starting point has this image in a container, totally fine because I'm just
Mm-hmm.
it's not that many people. It's a and in my app I can change that later.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when I do this load is it's opening up this drag and drop thing, and I can browse files and let me see. I got a bunch of different ones here. These are different ones from something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's some kind of a style image there. So that hasn't uploaded it to the server yet. It's only on the page right now, and it's just
Okay.
populated here. But what it's done is it's actually in my if I look under the hood in the data viewer, it's
Mm-hmm.
actually created this URL.
Ooh.
Okay. So if I go to a new tab and paste that URL in, there's my picture.
Okay.
Okay. Um, the reason for that is you may not want to put this thing directly into a container. As a developer, you might say, well, actually, we don't. We just need to take this and forward it off to somewhere else. We don't want to hang on to all of these documents, whatever they are,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Or we want to archive them, or we want to do something else with it. So it's just a URL for now. It's in a holding place in the cloud, and it'll automatically get deleted if I don't use it within 24 hours, and it'll get passed along. So I'm going to show you how we stick that in the container anyway. So
Okay.
now let's go back to here. Remember, this page has to talk to something in the server script, right? So I'm going to go over
Yes.
here. I'm going to call it account. Account. There we go. And there's my account page. And I'm going to also turn on the on form request. So that means it will query the database before the page loads and it'll try to fetch the account. So there
Okay.
we go. Okay. So I think we're done for the page for now. Um, let's go back over to here. We don't have a script in here yet and this is the example I just did earlier. So I'm going to delete this stuff here just so I don't get messed up. Start debugging and not realizing I didn't hit save. I went back and checked the log. Who noticed this? Who saw it? Because my own hubris. Who noticed that, right? And you know who it was? It was Jeroen from that awesome dev house that I told you about earlier. So I thought that was
Oh,
I think it was him.
that's
So
funny.
oh hey, you know what else? Remember I
What?
said yesterday, first time in 10 years, I said I will pair one-on-one with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Provided it's hour for hour kind of thing, right? You give me an
Yes.
hour of your time and vice versa, because I believe we're more than 100% synergistic. I had Yitzchuk, I think his name is.
Yishak
Um,
Fogel. Yeah, he's
yeah,
presented with us once.
yeah. He was very persistent, called me up. We paired last night.
Oh, did you
Super
really?
productive. Yeah, it was really, really good. Really, really good. And
That's awesome.
yeah. First time I said, yeah, you're the first time. First one ever who's taking me up on that. Right? Which I was really, really impressed. Really bright guy. Really, really
No,
good.
he's
We had a good
brilliant. He's
session.
done some really cool stuff with us before. So.
Yeah, really, I was really, really impressed by how productive we were. Um, and looking at things from some different perspectives, not just catching my mistakes, but
Mm-hmm.
architecturally, which was really, really good. All right, so I got one for estimates, I got one for thing, I got one for sign up. I need one of these in here for my account page. Okay, so we're almost done. We're going to go over to the helper file. We're going to go to step 3. This is the additional set, and we called it account. So ACC. Yeah, copy. Now I can come back over to my business file. Oops, my business file here, and I'm just going to paste this in. I'm going to put it in alphabetical order so I can sleep tomorrow. Okay, there we go.
I
Perfect.
appreciate that.
That's it. Now, this will run this script when that page loads. I don't have to do any connection or anything like that. It will, when I ask that page to communicate and like with buttons, it'll run this. So
Hmm.
here's what we need to do now. We need to, I'm gonna pseudocode this out so we can see what to do. It's only 3 lines, but that's
Hmm.
okay. We need to find out the user, right? Then we need to get user's profile or info, we'll call it, and return that back to BF. Okay. If you recall, some of the other pages we found the user as well. I'm going to go over to this dashboard or one of these other pages, doesn't matter which one. And we grabbed the ID user BetterForms. We grabbed this thing here before. So I'm gonna use the same one. So this is some data that's passed along. We'll call it metadata, and it's passed in this global variable of the ID who's registered, right? The person who's registered into this app. Now, I know their ID, and if you recall, we actually added in a BetterForms field under the account. How do I find the window here to write this on? Yeah. So I'm going to go to contacts, and we added, I don't think I can see it on here because I didn't add it visually. Yeah, I didn't add it visually, but inside this contacts table, there is an ID, capital ID. I remember it was a funny one. HID, BetterForms right here. So I can find this user based on this. And I don't know if did we add an as JSON to this user, and we don't. So I'm going to create a quick as JSON object. So I'm going to create a new one called JSON, as JSON, we'll just call it that. Create and JSON set element. We'll do the semicolon first thing like this. All right. We need to probably a good thing to usually put in here is the ID. So it's called ID contact. I'm going to try to keep the same names. ID contact, and it is a ID contact, and it is a JSON string. All right, this is our first element. All right. Now we're probably going to need the first name. So let's find first, name first, it's called. Name first, name first. That's also a string. Last, name last, name last. There we go. Name last. That's also a string. What else is on there? Let's see. First name, last name. We'll get their email. We're not allowing it to change, but we're just displaying it, so that won't
Hmm.
won't hurt. So let's get their email. Email. A whole whack of them. I'm gonna go for this one here.
I think that one's the correct one.
Yeah, sure.
The other globals are,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
that's a string. First name, last name. Do we have a position? Let me just see if there's some kind of positiony thing. First defined it wins the internet.
Uh,
Maybe
Position in what terms? Like where they're
I don't know,
located?
like whatever that position meant over here. I don't know.
Oh, it's like, huh.
Maybe a
Oh,
title.
oh, oh, like it'd be like a title, department
Yeah, yeah.
title.
How about department?
That works.
Yeah, works for me, right? Like, yeah,
Works for me.
shipping, shipper, almost the same, right?
Yeah, you know.
Okay, I'm gonna call it department. We'll have to change it on the front end because it's probably not called those exact field names. Like, for example, this is called user dot first name instead of name underscore first. So we'll have to change
Oh.
that. We can use the AI to do that, or we can just type it in here. Profile. We won't do that one. We're going to make it just upload load only for a second. About, I don't think there's a comment. Is there a description or a comment?
Mm,
Description? No. Flag? No. I don't know. We don't really have one of those. Maybe we'll just lose that one. And let's
mm-hmm.
just do one more field. I won't do all the fields for the sake of time. As soon as we
Uh,
get some AI in FileMaker, if we could have like an MCP server for FileMaker, this is basically an AI API. If
mm-hmm.
you're interested in learning what MCPs are, we've talked about them about 6 months ago in our um, in our FM BetterForms Friday Live meetup. But and how to build your own with FileMaker. But it would be
Mm-hmm.
nice to have one for coding because I could tell BetterForms now to go and like do this stuff for me, so I wouldn't have
So you don't sit there and waste your time doing
phone
this.
number. Let's do phone. We'll do phone. Yeah, because phone's definitely in here. Exactly. We'll go phone one. Copy, copy, paste, paste, paste. And incidentally, you can totally do this with a screenshot. Like here, I don't
Hmm.
know if you guys have done this, but like use your AI if you're not already. Let me pull up ChatGPT. And can you add phone and what else is visible on that? Let me just see. You could give it a better screenshot, but phone and
Cell phone.
actually, let's just do this one here. Phone. I'm going to do a new picture. Is there anything else that's really good, juicy?
Uh, we have the address, but I don't know.
Yeah, where's the address?
Primary
Probably.
address.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Can you just, yeah, let me just do this. I want to take a new picture here. Um, come on. There we go. All right. Let's paste a new one in here. Can you add phone and address fields to this FileMaker calc? All right. Yeah, you already have phone one, list in the list, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. And donezo. So,
Problem
you
solved.
know, take advantage of your tools because I'm really lazy there, but obviously, but we're done. Yeah, we're done. That's it. Okay. Now we need to fetch that field because that's the one that we're going to. I'm waiting for FileMaker to commit this. Now we're going to fetch that data because I don't want to put the critical data. Maybe like customer niceness. He's like a 1 star, right? Total jerk customer or something like that you could have in here. So I wouldn't want to surface that, even if we're not showing it on the web. I wouldn't want to even bring it out of the database. So these are only datas that I want to show for this particular use case. If I have a different collection of data, maybe for my staff, they can see different data. I might create a second as JSON. They're cheap. Okay, they don't cost anything because we're not evaluating them at all. So let's go back to our script. Let's fetch the data. So we got the ID. So now we need set variable SV. And this is going to be, we call it the user, I'm going to call it. That's going to be the user object. You don't have to put a dollar in there. It does it automatically. Um, you want to hear something really embarrassing? Okay, you know this field?
Shoot. Yes.
I used to always open like this, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know this window was resizable until about
No,
5 years ago.
the suffering. No.
Well, I never use this. This is like Maverick Field. You don't go in here. Like you got to either be a total noob or like some Comanche amazing phenomenal Maverick here, right? Can't do it. I go into the
The
I'm a
specify.
normal person, a normal person one here. But I
Yes.
didn't know until one day I went to hit the open and I dragged it, and it moved. It's like, holy crap, I didn't know that. I feel so stupid. I've been using FileMaker literally for like crazy long time. But anyway, it's
No, it's
just
so funny. There's some things that I used I did not realize were baseline that are were not baseline FileMaker. It's MBS plugins. I had a whole
right. Yeah,
phase
yeah.
of my life where I was like, why, where did all my features go for development? Because the auto variable complete. I'm very spoiled by that.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure. Um, so as Jason, so I want to get the as Jason when the ID better forms happens to be the value of, I don't know what I called it back over here. Let's have a quick peek. Dollar ID better forms right there. Right. So here's that autocomplete there that you were just talking about. Okay, that's it. That finds the record. Okay, of the logged in user. So that's this one here. This one comment per line here, pretty much. Okay. And then finally, I need to return that data to the front end. Again, you could do a FileMaker perform, find, go to layout, do all of that stuff. This is going to almost on average be more performant because when I go to layout, I could potentially be invoking all kinds of other stuff with that layout, script triggers and slowness because there's some other crazy calculation that's on there because I wanted to decided to put the total customers number of products that they sold for the last 10 years calculation on there and now it's
mhm.
gonna so this ends up being more performant but the SQL query because it's only returning that. All right, last thing is set variable. This is the last one, dollar bf underscore model. That's the data on the page. You could think of it like the active record in FileMaker. And we're going to JSON set element in the model. a key called user, and it's going to be the dollar user, and that is a JSON object. No type ahead for that. That's it. Boom, boom. Oh, here's another crazy one.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy power tip. I see people do this because like I said, I've been really fortunate to pair code with like literally, and I'm not exaggerating, there's probably about 500 developers now.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been like on Zoom calls where one of us is writing code. And most people hit this button like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can turn that into like a neuromuscular kind of thing and not have to, like, it sort of is when you click, but it takes a little bit more like cognitive resources to do that instead
Mm-hmm.
of reflexive. You don't have to dump your brain from the context of where you're working at. If you know my brain here has to say, oh, I have to commit this. Now I got to go and now I got to find the other one and I got to commit this.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That means for that 2 seconds, now I'm kind of like goldfish, so maybe it doesn't apply to everybody, but that takes time. But if you hit on a Mac function return, return, boom, boom,
Oh,
that
that's
becomes
nice.
reflexive. I didn't know that. Somebody taught me that just about 2 years ago. That when I try to learn a new keystroke regularly,
Mm-hmm.
and that one is amazing. How it keeps you in the game instead of like you
Oh
lose
no,
some
I'm the same way.
concentration.
I also have goldfish levels of ability to focus sometimes, so that's great.
Yeah. So I was like, what was I doing again?
Yeah,
All right.
no.
So here we are. So let's test this out. We got the on form request hook turned on.
Mm-hmm.
Let me make sure, and I'm gonna simulate. To go back to here, and what is? Let me just log out, and I will log in. So I'll make sure I'm logged in there. Okay, great. That's because it's the password is not the same one. I use my super duper secure one here. Okay, so I'm logged in. I'm going to go to the account page. It should do, let's see if it fetched our data properly. No, okay, so hold on here. Let me double check something. Let me just make sure I've saved everything here. Let's see. Account. That looks correct. On form request. I don't know if I actually saved this here, so let me just do that. All right, so we got a little something here. We're not seeming to hit this script. Let me make sure everything is cool. Account. Count is fine. I put it in the on form request, yeah. So there's something I've done a little bit wrong. That's no worries. So we'll troubleshoot it. Let's just first we start with our helper file. And I'm gonna go to my inbox. I'm just gonna empty my inbox so I can know for sure. And I'm going to navigate away from that page. I'm going to come back to that page. There it is, account. Okay. So here's the account page running.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the on form request hook. So let's see what it's doing. So this is kind of a script trace of where it's going. It is
Mm-hmm.
running to the on form request, but let me just see if I just see. Oh, it did put data in here. Okay, so it should be in here. Something didn't get saved. Oh, huh. Okay. This is kind of a funny one. This is leftover artifact from what we did yesterday. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you remember yesterday, I turned on some synchronization because I was saying, hey, you can remember these pages. And I didn't turn
Yeah.
that off for today. So I'm just going to undo this because
Oh.
that'll override our data. There we go. Okay, that's what's wrong. All right, so save that. Get that chance to save. We'll navigate away.
Commodore 64 user manual.
Pardon me?
I was noticing the user manual, the Commodore 64 user manual and the document list. It cracked me up.
Yeah,
There
I
you
never
go.
had one of those. Those are for rich kids. Um, I had a, I had a, I had a, that was my first computer.
Oh,
All right. So
that's
that was,
awesome.
and it had 1K of memory. So you could write in BASIC, but I learned to how to write in assembly language, machine code assembly language, and it had a Z80 processor, and that really made you think. Learning how to. I'm so thankful for that, right? That I couldn't afford the like all the rich kids had apples,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have that, and I had to save up for that, and then I soldered my extended memory on, and
That's
Anyway,
awesome.
so
No, that's awesome.
yeah.
I love that.
All right, sorry, where was I here? I don't know.
Someone was asking, do you need an exit script?
No, let me look at that here. Just a sec here. Let me pull that up. Script. Um, you sort of we add, this is kind of a more of an advanced kind of thing. We add an exit script here. We're not putting results back into the script, and the reason for that is we have some well curated and manicured, if you will, global variables. There's about 5 of these ones, and we're using those, and we maintain them. So that means because global variables can potentially leak out stuff, um, but we maintain them and clean them up afterwards. And the reason we do that is it makes it easier for the developer not to have to pass arguments into subscripts. That is like common stuff to the app. Um, it's actually one of the few good use cases, I think, anyway, of global variables. The reason we do exit with a 1 is if this script doesn't exist, we can actually detect that it executed properly, right? So it from a error trapping perspective, and that's the only reason. That's the only reason there. All right, just a sec. All right, let's go back and close this, close that. Then back over here. I keep going back to here. Turn that off. Okay, good. Okay, let's jump back to here and there we go. So here is our user data. Charles doesn't look like he has too much stuff entered in, so we'll pop a phone number in and we'll pop a city and stuff in. But the data is all here. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to jump back over to here. And if we look at the mapping, we do have to think about a little bit like what field is connected. FileMaker, you got to do this too, right? I go into layout mode and I click on a field like this. Come on. There. Oops. This tells me what that field is mapped to, right? That box is connected to. So we're doing the same thing on the web. I want my name first, and it's under a user object. So I need to connect this to name first because right now, if I do this and we look where the data is connected, it's not connected. It's connected to, where's hello? Right there. First name, wrong field,
Oh, okay.
right? So I just
Hmm.
got to change, I just got to fix those up. So I'm going to change this from user.firstname to user.name first. All right, for those people who roll that way. There, name last. This is probably LAST. Could you have the AI do this as well? Do we have a position?
I don't
Um,
think we got a position at the
yeah,
end of the
was
day.
was it something first name, last name,
Oh,
contact,
department, I think that we
department? Okay,
decided
we'll
for.
we'll change that to department. Um, department to label. This is the model user.department. Um, There's a bunch of options for this. Like can you select multiple values? Can you,
Hmm.
because it's a drop down. What
Yes.
are the values right now? It's manager. Like you can see these are arbitrary values here. Um,
I assume you could hand it the value list that has the values if you
Good. Yeah,
wanted
you can
it.
make this a calculation. This is what's kind of cool about BetterForms is almost anything can become dynamic.
That's actually
Uh,
really nice.
so if I didn't want these values hard coded, I
Hmm.
can click this here. And now I can actually point. I could do something like this. Here, I'm just gonna. I don't want to do this for permanent. So I'm going to save this for a second, and then I'm going to go back to it. Values. So I can undo. I could actually here. Let me just do this. I'm just going to duplicate this element so I don't mess up that particular one. Actually, let me see what's the best way for this. Yeah, all right. Anyhow, I can change this and I can turn this calculation on and off for the values. And when I do that, I think I broke it already anyway. That's okay. I can get those values in my model. So I could say into my data model, and this data could come from FileMaker, and we could call it what was it called? Positions? No, departments.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna create an array. Now this data, I'm creating an array here, but that can come from FileMaker, and we'll call it sales. And another department might be shipping, and another department might be management. Okay. So this is some data, but that data again can come from FileMaker, right? Just the same. Save. Let me grab this data here too. There's a bad calculation on my page. I'll fix that in a second. Okay, position here and values. Now we're going to model dot departments. Is that what I called it? It's a goldfish.
Yes, I think it
Departments.
was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So now this is a calculation of model dot departments.
Oh, wait, I don't think you spelled it correctly. Is that gonna
Did I? No, yeah, for sure didn't. Departments,
meant?
right? Model dot departments. All right. That is dynamic now,
Ha!
right?
Nice.
Now I could go over to here and
Mm-hmm.
say, oh, that's hard coded my database, Charles. My database has other things. So we can go into here and we can say set variable um dollar departments. So departments. And now I can put whatever I want in there, right? Like I can get it from a field, I can get it from a value list, I can make it up on the fly, whatever those options are, right? I can build a JSON object here if I wanted to semi-hard code it, but and then pass that into the object and that'll be live, dynamic from the back end. So that's how you include like a value list or something like that. Really, really easy. Okay, we're almost done, and I want to speed up a little bit because got two more blocks on my table here, and we're almost done this one. So we've
Mm-hmm.
grabbed all the data here, and it looks like we're grabbing the data fine and save that, and we actually see the data getting populated, which is cool. Let's just make sure it's real. Let me go back to Charles here, and and Charles J. K. Sorry, there we go. Um, and commit that record. Make sure that's committed. Let's move away. And we'll come back and kaboom. So we got real data. That's a real profile in here. I haven't saved this because I don't have a data, but let's save that back and that's just as easy. We need to do something with a save button because right now it's just not doing, it's not connected. So let's jump up to our save button. What's it doing? It's running a script called save. So let's go to our scripts, our action scripts, and I got one here called save, and it's just showing an alert. But I really want it to probably validate my page. Um, So I want to validate the form. And then I also wanted to run a hook in FileMaker. So I'm going to say hook. And that's it. We're done on this side here. We've finished wiring up the front end. Um, I don't think I have anything required, but maybe we should make these required. Let's make at least one field required here. So this is make, yeah, something like that. Not quite the right spelling, but LLMs are just so amazing for like typos and stuff. They're just so It's like, wow, you know? All right, so it added required is true and false. I can turn it on and off here. And it
Mm-hmm.
also said it's requiring it by it's just saying it's got to be a value. But we can do all kinds of re crazy requirement things. We can require by regex, if you know what that stuff is, date and time and credit card and a whole bunch of other things. We can even call
That's super cool.
server and say, hey, FileMaker server, is this name allowed? We could do something like that. You're not limited. That's the real takeaway here. Okay, great. We're saved there. Let's jump back over to here. If I erase this, it's going to say this field is required, and
Nice.
it's doing that, right? I can't say, I won't be able to save it right now. So, and won't be able to continue. All right, great. We're done here. Let's actually run the script or save the data back into FileMaker. And then we have a complete, fully functional portal that mind all my talking we built in about 2.5 hours or 2 hours or so, really, of actual coding time. All right. So I'm going to go over to here. This script is going to get run when I hit that save button. I don't need any of this stuff because I've only have one function. So we'll just do this. So we're going to do set variable. We're going to call a user because that's the thing that's getting passed in. And that's getting passed in a global variable called BF model.
Oh, there you go.
See, the fingers go faster, right? And then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, the brain catches up. It's JSON get element out of the model and it's key called user, right?
Okay.
Okay, so we're just grabbing
Hmm.
that. That's the first thing because all of that stuff comes along for the ride back.
Hmm.
Now we got to get the ID. So set variable. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of combine a couple steps here.
Okay.
Actually, I won't set variable. Dollar ID contact ID contact. Let me just make sure I got the right variable here. ID contact like this. Okay, and this is going to be JSON get element out of the user object.
Hmm.
If you've worked with any APIs, this is exactly that, right? Done there. Now we got the ID. Now we have to go to the record here because we can't easily write through SQL, at least not at the moment, too much. Contacts. What is it? Some like contact
TO, it'd be 300A
300 this one
probably.
here, right?
Yeah.
Sounds good. 300 alpha. And go to layout, perform find. You could probably change the order for performance, perform find, PF, perform find. I know we're going to do this, and remember how much we got hung up last time, but it wasn't our fault. Um, we want to find the ID. We want to find this particular person's record. If I can see it. Type ahead in this.
It'd be ID. Yeah.
Contact. There it is.
Yep.
ID contact. And the criteria is it's got to equal dollar ID contact, right? I think
And I don't think that's how
is
you
that
thought you did
find. I want to
ID
find.
contact combined, like there was no underscore for the variable.
Oh, hold on. Let's check. You're right. Didn't I? Okay, I'm going to change the variable to be consistent. Okay, so I'll change the
Works for
variable.
me.
Good call on that, though. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Save. There we go. Okay. All right. So we get the user, we get the contact ID out of the user object. This could all be combined into one line, not as readable. Go to layout. Christian saying that he's reminding me, I can hear his voice saying that this is the wrong thing. It's only I probably can trigger that again, and it'll probably update. Um, and then it's doing a perform find. We're finding based on the contact as the ID contact, and then what's the last thing? Then we got to update the records, right? So set field. And I'm not only going to do one for the sake of time because we're getting late on time,
Hmm.
right? So set field, I'm just going to update the first name. If
Easy
I can
one.
find
Uh,
name first.
it's name first. Yes, that's the.
And I prefer a name first over first name because then all the names are put together.
Yes, I think that's why we did it.
Um, I use lower camel case or Pascal case, but we can agree on some things and still be friends. Now I need to get the value out of that, right? The
Yes.
value is in user.
Hmm.
Right? So I need to do JSON get element. That's gonna get it out of the user, and it was called name first. Double check. Name first. I'll just
There it
replace
is.
the typo. Great. All right. And I will just do one more. Last, I'm not going to change my name anyway, but um, what was the other one actually? Let's do a more interesting one. What was this one here? Position, because position's not done yet.
It's
Department, right?
department.
Okay, so let's change it.
Department.
We'll update our department. Department. Yes, it went there fast. And this is department.
Hmm.
So it really is better when you're using all the same, like if you're using uppercase here, you don't have to, obviously,
Hmm.
but you're going to trip up. So it's really better to always use the same one as what the database is. You should keep in mind, though, and this goes for any kind of naming conventions, and I think Nick's going to probably mention this next week. The naming convention's got to be like good on like four fronts. It's got to be compatible with FileMaker, which is almost anything. It's got to be compatible with JSON, that means no spaces. It's got to be compatible with JavaScript, that means no hyphens, no spaces, no number starts, things like that. It should be compatible with SQL queries, which has another set of things and certain reserve words. If you can fit it all into there, which Laura Pascal case kind of does, um,
Hmm.
then you got a really good name. And we're just going to commit the record. Oh, you know what? Let's do the container as well. This is an exciting one. Um, Set field, we need to insert container. So we're on the record. So we need to insert. Actually, we need to check if it's there. So let's just say if JSON get element, user, And this is files. I think it's under files. Let me just double check. Sorry. We're almost there, almost there.
No, you're good.
Okay. Let me just upload a quick file, see where it goes. This is the easiest way. Okay, let's look under the hood. Files, it's an array, so it's files 0
Okay.
URL. Okay. So if probably want to do some kind of an empty thing is empty what was it?
Mm-hmm.
User files 0 uh URL if it's not empty. Right? I think that's right. For the home players, oops, home players comment chime in. Not is empty file. I got something wrong, missing one of those. Right? Okay. Not is empty. So if it's not empty, that means we
Okay.
have a file because we don't want to erase the old file. That's the reason for
Yes.
this, right? They're not always going to update one. Now I'm just going to is it set field container? Insert file.
Is it in?
I want to insert file from the URL. Yeah, so it's insert URL. Sorry, insert URL. Insert URL. Is that it? Insert
From
from the.
URL? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. The target is going to be my container. Um,
Which is what is it called again?
Ooh,
Contact container photo. Scroll back up.
yeah, that sounds good. We'll go for it. Specify URL. The URL comes from this thing here, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have broken that out into a separate URL for cleaner code. JSON get element out of the user object,
Mm-hmm.
file 0,
Mm-hmm.
because you can have the ability to upload multiple files, dot URL. Another reason why we don't upload the file directly into the container is we have some cases where people are uploading entire videos.
Oh,
Like 6 GB or something like that, right? You can't dump that into a FileMaker container because it's going to take like FileMaker is not really fast at ingesting that kind of data.
no.
So it'll and it's got to go through the script. It'd be just brutal on
It'll
FileMaker.
drag everything down to a crawl. Yeah.
Then you can do it on a perform script on server and you can take care of that later on. So the file is safe. We've captured it from the user, let it run in server in the background, and it's a little while. Get user file ID user. I think that's it. That's going to populate the container. We're going to commit the record. And I don't know, there's probably going to be mistakes in here, but I think we're good. So let's try it out. Let's go Charles with an extra S, Claris.
Mm-hmm.
Charles. Okay, position. I'm definitely in shipping. Um, I got the picture.
Cool.
Let me just move this down here. And I don't think anything else is required, so I'm gonna go for it. I forget if we say, oh, look at
There
that.
it went.
Okay, the big reveal. Hold on, hold. What do you think? What do you think? Let's see. We might not
What
even get.
photo actually is that? That might not be the photo we
Yeah,
picked.
exactly.
Oh,
Right.
it says it is contact container
Yeah.
photo.
So we might have had a little bug in there. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to here. Um, let's just have a quick look. I'm gonna go to my list view. I'll go to that last hook.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is here. That's the save. If I look in my model, here's the data coming in from the web.
Okay.
It's running my script. I know it's running my script anyway. Let's add a breakpoint and we can probably, with a bit of luck, see where the issue is. You never used to have to save breakpoints. You could just click on it and it would work. Now I think you have to save them now, which I think
Mm.
is kind of a weird thing. I'd rather not save them and be sort of more ephemeral. Okay, so we know I'm pretty confident this stuff is all good because it's finding the right record. It's
Mm-hmm.
right here. Okay, right there is where it blew by. So user.files 0. So let's have a look at what's in this user record. Oh, my user. Oh, it's
Is
not user. My mistake. That's where it is. So here's our bug. If we look here
yeah.
and I collapse this, it's parallel. It's a sibling. It's not
Oh,
actually
it's a
really
totally
users.
different. Okay.
Yeah, it's just files. So there's our bug. We found it, hopefully. And let's cancel that. Let's do this. Boom, bam. And let's go back to our script. And that's how you go about debugging. And that's going to happen, right? You're going to always
Mm-hmm.
run into little things. And that's just because I wasn't paying attention. Where's the value here? And then here, specify target. It's the target's the value URL here. Here. Okay, user dot. It's not under user. It's going to be dollar dollar BF model. It's a little bit higher up. There we go.
And then pull it out of the file. There you go.
All right,
Nice.
let's.
Wait, well, you need to fix the if not empty bit first as well,
I don't
right?
know. It might. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. See, earned your keep for one more day.
I'm
Dollar
trying.
dollar BF model. Okay, we're good. Enter, enter. Save. Save. I'm waiting for the little BetterForms has a little drop down. I'm waiting for the drop down. It's too funny. Okay, I think we're good here. Let's move this over to here. Let's
Okay.
clean up our desktop. We should just be able to hit save because I didn't re-navigate away from this. Oh, I guess I need to do a little bit more. Let's see if this is the right one, if we did it right.
Come on. I have
Uh,
faith in you.
yeah,
Uh,
don't think so. Something else. One more thing. Okay. Help, all right. Oops. I hate that feature. Okay.
I know. It drives me nuts.
Script, run, go,
There's a
go.
way to turn it off, but I forget to turn it
Yeah,
off
there
on
is.
all
And
my
then I
computers.
turn it off once and I go, I kind of like it on. Okay. What is there an error? Command failed, for example, a set field script does not have a calculated specific. Uh, there's something off here. Insert from URL into it. Did I select the field? Target, yeah, I selected the target. There's something wrong with this. This is correct. bfmodel.file.url because it branched off into here, so I know that's correct because this one's the same as a files. Oh, file. Files.
Oh, it's the little
Good.
things that get you.
Yeah. Make more mistakes in FileMaker. It's my yeah, sorry, I'm in the wrong folder.
No, you're good. You've also been doing
Yeah,
this for
I
like an
know.
hour and 40 minutes live.
Yeah.
After a certain point,
Count
people
pages.
begin getting.
We're almost done, folks. We're almost done, and then we're gonna like do this the confetti, everything.
Yeah.
All right.
This has been
Um,
very entertaining though, and enlightening. I've learned a lot this week.
files.
Files.
There we go. Names matter. Okay. My new shirt. Chapter of my next book. Save that. File names matter. Variable names matter. Okay, I think now we could run this again if I didn't want the like the pomp and circumstance of having it like show up without me
Mhm.
touching it. I could run it from here. I could just hit this button and it should
Mhm.
show up there.
Mhm.
Okay. If everything's right. And I could debug it again. And that's probably how I would normally do it. I wouldn't just go here and try to hit the button again because there's something else.
It's always the containers. It's always the containers.
But
There's nothing more temperamental than trying to get a
let's see. It's
container to
this
work for
one
you.
right here. What is it? Oh, it looks like it.
Oh, oh, it did work.
I might have had something on the front end, but this did work because it just inserted right there. So when I ran it locally, okay, so this is interesting. There might be some weird proof thing or something like that.
Nicely done.
But now we have a profile. You get the idea. So let's look at everything. Quick recap of everything from this week.
Mhm.
Okay. I'll go try to do it in 2 minutes or less. Web
Okay.
apps. You have to have one. Your customer has to have one because your either your business or your customer's business is sells products or it sells services. Right? They do something like that. They
Mhm.
need to communicate with their team and they need to communicate with their customers or their suppliers or the people they interact with. That's where these portals come from. In some fashion, booking appointments, whatever it is. We showed a ton of different examples, maybe 8 or 10 different examples of simple and really complex apps. We took a template, starter template here for made it and set it up for Busy Corp. I recapped some of that this morning. And if you want to see the whole thing, go back to day 1 and day 2 from Monday from this week in the videos. And we connected up some of this data, metrics data. We connected up these two active invoices by doing a filter in FileMaker. And then we got estimates where it shows all of the estimates. We fetched that data and we're showing it here. When we click on a row, we added like a little mini script. We call it an action script that allows this page to go to the next page here. We modified this page. First, we made a simpler invoice and then we found one that we liked online and we just copied the UX from that. And we have this invoice. Then we added a button up here to place the order. When we click on that button, it went back to FileMaker and it went back into starting point and it estimates. It ran, let's find a real one here. Commit from inventory. No, this one's like, oh, this is, here. Oh, come on. It ran, I don't think I have any more now, but it ran that button. There's a conditional
Mm-hmm.
button here that shows that says convert the estimate. It takes it to the next workflow stage, right? The
Mm-hmm.
next state. Next state. Then we did a couple other things. We also took our account page here and we gave the user the ability, hey, there's a typo in my name and the ability to upload a file.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go to that one. I don't know what that is. It's another one of these dudes. And to save that, we probably would navigate the user back to another spot there. There might be still something odd about the oh, there it is. Is that it?
Yep,
Yep,
that was
that's
it.
it. All right. And we've updated our profile image. That's pretty cool. And it's a production ready app. It's already got authentication. It's got email invite. We actually click on here. We can send an email and invite the person. This is, as it stands right now, 100% useful. There's one page that we would probably hide documents. We didn't touch that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's 100% usable. Of exactly the stuff that we did in this week's call. If you want to try that, I'll just do another little slightly shameless plug here.
Feel free.
And you want to, I'll throw my pair coding thing out there as well. Um, you're welcome to join our Friday Live. It's a weekly or sorry, monthly meetup group. It's a little bit more technical on the technical side, so you got a pretty advanced technical audience,
Mm-hmm.
but they're talking about everything from selling software and positioning to project management to all kinds of things that are of interest to experienced and growing developers. So I think it's a really, really good meetup. We got pretty high turnout considering it's we're a for-profit company. It's not a peer thing. We're one of the bigger groups for that kind of monthly meetups.
Mm-hmm.
BetterForms, you want to get started? We have the best thing to do is just book a demo, and you and I will build up an example, kind of what we did today. Connect it up. We won't connect it to your database, but we'll connect it up. I got a demo database that we can
Mm-hmm.
use, and we'll try to reproduce what one of your use cases are, so you get a real idea of what's going on. Pretty cheap too, as well. You mentioned earlier that it doesn't consume licenses. Goal of BetterForms is not to skirt FileMaker licensing,
Mm-hmm.
right? The goal of BetterForms is to offer FileMaker, us, our community, something that we can't easily do,
Mm-hmm.
right? There is virtually no way you can create all of this stuff in the exact same amount of time, right? And not have the environment that hosts it, that has version control,
Mm-hmm.
automatic rollbacks, it has certificates, all of that stuff, streaming abilities, and all of those things that are built in
Mm-hmm.
that come along for the ride. Um,
Yes.
so you're looking at about 33 bucks a month, so it ends up being pretty inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that cost? Like one user placing an order through your website once a month pays for the entire app, you know? So it's like, to me,
Yes.
it's a no-brainer.
Which is awesome. Seriously.
So
This
yeah,
has been a really exceptional week. Thank you. Lynn says, thank you. This has been a week of really cool ideas. I can't wait to have a use case for this. Absolutely. Something that I'll probably look into playing with myself at some point because it's very cool for what it can do. Thank you, Charles, for giving us your time and a lot of it, frankly, a lot of time this past week to come over and cover
that's
this.
all good.
This has
That's
been
all good.
awesome.
My
Uh,
team probably likes it because I'm not harping on them and like that. So,
ah, that's funny. That's the
so,
curse of
um,
bosses everywhere, right?
but thank you guys as well because we had a fun time. I know Pearson enjoyed coming on yesterday. If you ever want to talk about some other things, we're happy to share all the knowledge that we've learned. It doesn't have to be better forms related,
Absolutely.
but it can be everything. So
Definitely going to put a pin in that 'cause I think that'd be fun. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for coming. Have a lovely weekend, and I will see you next week for whatever the shenanigans on this show are never ending. So we'll, we'll have something else happening. Bye, everybody.
all right, good stuff. Cheers.